Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nobody Asked Me Guys show. Guys, listen, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here to share with us. They have returned, the dynamic duo of Andrea and Elsa from C Math is Easy. Now, guys, listen, we need you to give us your undivided attention because what's going to be shared this evening is going to be a topic that is near and dear to all of us. However, when we talk about small businesses, when we talk about businesses that are, and I always say, quote, when I say this, that are minority businesses, when we talk about corporate America, when we talk about big business, and how people so hypocritically talk about people should pull themselves up by their bootstraps, this, that, and the third, when all the time they are stealing from those very individuals that they are talking about should do this and should do that. Well, tonight, we have two beautiful young ladies with us that are the starters and the proprietors of C Math is Easy. They're going to be sharing some information with you. And I'm telling you, button down your hatches because some of you might be shocked. So this evening, we introduce again our dynamic duo of Andrea and Elsa. Good evening, ladies.
Hello, how are you, Mr. Melvin?
I
Hi.
am fantastic. I am fantastic, and I'm proud to be here with the both of you.
Well, thank you for having us.
Listen, the pleasure is all mine. And I understand this evening that we will be talking about, again, as I've explained to our audience, unfortunately, some mishaps that have taken place, quite frankly, and I can say it if you can't say it, outright thievery that have gone down with the major university, and I'm sure it happens across the country. However, many times we don't feel the effects until it affects our businesses that we are conducting. And with you and Elsa and with C Math is Easy, unfortunately, you have been affected. So feel free, both of you, to share with us and just bring it to us the way you feel.
Well, Mr. Melvin, I actually have some slides for you today. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you perfectly.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to share a little PowerPoint for y'all today. And Elsa, you're going to jump in as we go through. And so basically, we're going to talk about our company, exposing the damage that we found out about in 2020 with respect to Texas A&M University at Corpus Christi and Corpus Christi Independent School District. And so this is what we're going to actually share the truths about what happened and take you step by step about what happened in this particular incident and why we are calling them out.
Okay.
And so I wanted to share one of these pictures. We did a book launch in May of 2019. And and we just celebrated with our friends and family and our pastor. And it was just a time to share our TSI workbook. We thought because we're in the bookstore, we made it. This was an achievement to be in the bookstore. We didn't know all that was going to happen by being there. We actually put the workbook in the bookstore in April, but we had our actual book launch in May. And so anything you would like to say about that, Elsa?
Everybody was there. We were really excited. This was many, many years in the making. We had blood, sweat, and tears, tears, and tears to make this book. And so, yeah, we were really excited about it. And we had finally, like Andrea said, thought we made it, and there was more to come.
Yes, more to come. And so here are a few of our beginnings. Here are several pictures that you see of us actually doing a TSI boot camp, especially in the left, the right, and the left at the bottom. The top right was one of our first contracts we had in a nearby city called Kingsville, Texas. And we actually had 100% passing rate with these students with really a one-day boot camp for the TSI. This was just a shocker of what we were able to do within a 6-hour intense boot camp. And we had 2 separate groups. The one on the left, we did a boot camp with a group not too far away in the nearby area. The bottom left was another group of students that we worked with, and all of them were high school students that were needing to pass the TSI math, and they brought us in. And then at the bottom right, we were invited to be part of a new entrepreneur night through the Texas A&M University Business Center, of all places. And we had a chance to share about CMath. And you see, we had a pretty good audience that were there to celebrate with other small businesses like ourselves. And so as we're going on, we began to discover some things about our TSI workbook. And we discovered it in a TSI math packet found at Moody High School, passed out by a school counselor, given to all the students to study the TSI assessment. And the TSI math prep was provided by Texas A&M University Corpus Christi PASS program and their Upper Bound program. And so
now this is our information that they're passing out, but it is not to our credit. They are not, at this point, they have not spoken to us to distribute this information. They have not contacted us. We were in talks with them for us to even go into the schools and help the teachers teach the TSI. And then suddenly they had their own TSI math workbook after getting their hands on our book, and they began to distribute this information at Moody, the counselor passing this information out as theirs. It was our information that they were passing out themselves as if it was their information, as if it belonged to them.
So you just had
and we had copyrights of all of this.
Just outright plagiarism.
Outright plagiarism, passing it out as if they had done all the work.
And so the thing about it is that we were, I was asked to help a set of twins to do their TSI math. And I've been working with these students for at least 5 years over the years, and now they're finally of age to do the TSI. And so the grandma asked me, hey, can you help them? I said, sure. What are they already doing at school? So that I could continue where the school had already started. You follow me? And so the grandparent brought me this little packet that I'm going to show in a second of a stapled that said TSI math practice prep, on it. And this is my first discovery about the information of our workbook was being stolen by us helping a former student by a grandparent whose child had picked up TSI study practice for his test coming up.
Now,
from the counselor.
I want to give a little bit more detailed information that Andrea is doing. Here we are struggling, entrepreneurs to the CMath is easy as ours. We're struggling, but Andrea is giving her time to help this grandma right now. She was giving up her time free. We were not charging this grandma, helping this student. And at this time, she says, well, let me bring you the packet that they gave my child at school. And because Andrea wanted to make sure she kept up with how they were teaching them. That way they wouldn't be misdirected or they wouldn't see something different, because they were going to go back to school and try to get the more information, right? So Andrea wanted to be in line with that. That's what we do in CMath is Easy. We try to stay in line with what the teacher, we get the math stuff, we understand how they're trying to teach it, and we try to stay in line and also bring clarity to what they're trying to do. And this was what Andrea was doing at this point. And so the grandma says, Andrea, this is the packet that they were handing out at school. And she handed it to Andrea.
And so here, what I want to show you first right quick is our original work. I wanted you to know that it's in 24 font. It's in color and it's well spaced. And I want to show you at this moment right quick what it looks like. And I'm going to switch over into another screen right quick. Can you see the TSI workbook cover? Okay, so I wanted to show you this just quickly. And so you can see the contrast. I'm going to slide down some and then I'm going to increase it. And so I wanted you to see right quick how this right here is 24 font, very clear in color. This is the actual few pages of our workbooks. As you can see, very short sentences that we show. We have a lot of pictures, just some quick phrases. This is probably the longest phrases that we might have, but as you can see, it's you can see it very well, color highlighted, and so forth. So I wanted you to see what our material looks like. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. Okay. And so now this right here is what they were producing. This is what the grandparent showed me. This is the first page of the packet. As you can see on top, it says TSI math practice problems. Can y'all see that? Okay, so this was found at the Moody High School by the counselor. Okay, now I want you to show that. This is the first page of their packet. Now I'm going to show you again another slide. Let me switch screens. Okay, can y'all see the next packet again? Okay, and so here it says TSI math practice pack. So this is what the packet the grandparent gave to me. I want you to take note over here on the left-hand side. See all those little dots? That means this thing has been copied over and over again with the staple marks. So I just wanted just to bring that to your attention. And so this is what we're looking at. I'm going to make it a little smaller so that you can kind of see what this packet. As you can see, I don't know where this came from or what book it came from or who did it. It's just math problems. Y'all see number 8, A through D, 9, A through D. Okay. And so I'm just seeing what the kid was what he handed me. As you can see, there's no identifiers anywhere, and so forth. And as you can see, they're just math problems for the students to work out. So I'm looking through. It's okay. Here's a different one. I can see they copied this from another workbook. You know, no name, no identifier, no copyright whatsoever. But okay, you know, this is what they're passing out to the kids. Here's a handwritten, they felt like they couldn't find what they were looking for. So here's some handwritten copy that they made for their TSI packet with the staple in it. And as you can see, here's some more practice problems for their workbook and their packet. Okay, so no identifiers whatsoever. Okay, and then guess what, you guys? I think this is the wrong one that I was supposed to show, but look right here. In the middle of the packet, all of a sudden it switches over to Texas A&M University. And look, no more problems. There's no more number 8, A through D. But guess what? All this right here is pure 100% TSI math workbook from cmathiseasy. 100%. As you can see, it shifts, it changes. And this one right here, page 30, as you can see right here, I'm going to show you some side-by-sides in a moment. Page 30 right here, this is what caught my attention because we teach this like nobody else has taught it to my knowledge. And so this is right here is one of our signature teachings for a negative exponent. So that's what caught my attention because it was like, that looks strange. That looks familiar. That's what caught my attention. And so I wanted you to see, okay? See, Texas A&M, if you can't see that, let me make that a little closer. See there?
Yeah, I see it.
Their logo right there, okay? And then I want you to see, okay, this is our page 2. When I was doing the PDF, I accidentally switched it, but you see this page 30 is on there twice, happened to be. But look here, it switches from problems to Texas A&M, and no more problems, just information, just examples, just how are they doing it. Look here, this is the base, this is the exponent. You see there? These, oh, this is 6 to the 4th power. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I wanted to show you that. Now let me go back to my PowerPoint. Elsa, jump in at any time.
Mr. Lars, they didn't even change the numbers from our book. They used the same numbers, the same letters, the exact same words, except do you see how right under page 11, it talks, you could see a star, and we have a box instead. That was the only difference between our book and their information, or our information that they're passing on as theirs.
Wow.
And so see right here, Andrea has them next to each other.
Same variable, same variable.
And
same exponent.
You can tell right there where it says x squared plus x, ours is x squared plus x. And x plus y, and then same variable, different exponents, they didn't change not one word, not one letter, not one number.
And here the paragraph,
and just copied it word for word.
Another name for term is monomial. Another name for term is monomial. And a group, word for word, page 12, page 12. And it continues on and on. As you can see, negative d to the third, negative d to the third. And so this is what they did. They pulled out the meat of our workbook. If this is from chapter 1, 2, and 3, if we did not have chapter 1, 2, and 3, there was no reason for us to write this TSI math workbook. Because as you saw earlier, all they had were math problems to practice. They didn't have the step-by-step like we have it. Okay, so I'm going to show just a couple more. But as you can see, these are information. Look what they did. I pulled this from them. As you can tell, all the black and white is their stuff. Order of polynomials. X to the 4th, x to the 4th, to the 3rd, 2nd. As you can see, hey, here's what y equals 1y. P squared equals 1p squared. Y equals 1 to the y. And then here they go right here. If a variable does not have a number, if a variable does not have a number, I don't know.
So somebody had to take the time and type it on their computer or whatever it is that they were using themselves. They had our book right there, and they were just typing, copying the entire thing.
And that's very easy to see. Yep. Yes. And so this is from the packet that I showed you earlier. And look in here. Here's once again, x to the 3rd, negative 3, plus 2, negative 9, x to the 3rd, minus 3, plus 2 to the x, minus 9. See, ours is in color. We grouped it into color coding, where all the x to the 3rds are together, x to the squares, x's, and those with no variables. We color coded this workbook. And then this is simple right here. Hey, what are some, we went down to the basics. How can you show multiplication? An X, a dot, or parentheses? Look, they didn't skip a beat.
So they put an oval and we had put a rectangle, but somebody had to have put that oval. Somebody typed in that oval. And you know what this reminds me of, Mr. Lars, is that I don't know if you remember that that one in the Bible of David, where Nathan comes to David and he stole that one sheep from that man, and he said, "Thou art the man."
Yes.
And he had all the resources that he wanted over here. He had all the sheep. He could have chosen any one of them. And here we are with one.
Yes.
One sheep. And they took it.
Wow.
Wow. And so I wanted you just to, I'm not going to show you all of them, but I just wanted you just to see that they just did what they wanted to. They just sat down and just typed away.
They took it, stole it, copied it, even though we had copyright right there in the front page. Do not copy and distribute. They ignored all of that completely. They knew that our workbook was producing something good, that we were having success. They were not. They were trying, they were putting in money into stuff that wasn't working. And then they found out this this business, cmathiseasy, run by two minority women. They've got something, and they took it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they took it.
That's criminal. That is criminal. They didn't want to pay you, but they thought enough of your work to steal it.
Yes.
And I'll be very, very honest with you. It goes back, ladies, to the whole premise of whether people want to admit it or not, of even during slavery and when they don't want to fairly pay migrants, etc., is that you benefit and then you just dismiss all of the work, sacrifice, and knowledge of other people. Like inventions that were stolen, and they say, well, since you're not a person, then whatever your brain can produce, then it actually belongs to me. And and so they're still doing that to this very day. In corporate America, and a university is nothing more than a corporate office that educates. This is outright thievery.
Yes.
Wow.
So I don't know what you can see right now. Tell me what you see.
Yeah, we see you.
Okay, all right. And so I'm gonna go back. I apologize. Trying to find my way. All right. Can y'all see the PowerPoint again?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to show you that. So that was the packet, and there was side by side, as you can see. And this was a flyer that was shown to me at Moody High School. As I want you to see, sorry, too fast. I wanted you to see that, I'm kind of blocked right here, that this right here, this flyer was still need to pass the TSI math, TSI workshop. Here it is right here, advertising for the whole school for the Upper Bound program. And I wanted y'all to see this. This is another program that's partnering with the Upper Bound program at Texas A&M.
Oh, program for academic student support.
Yeah. Yes, that's coming together with them. Okay, and so we don't know how there's actually 5 to 6 other programs within the PASS program. I'm going to show you that also, that are part of that can be shared with the with the Upper Bound program. And so this flyer was being advertised in the hallways to the whole school to, hey, come and get help for the TSI. And I wanted to show you this too, is that here, the Upper Bound program, this basically is showing, sorry, I need to move some things around so I can see. I wanted y'all to see right here that the program, thanks that was established in 2017, but support groups or support centers at the university have been around for a while, under the TRIO and so forth. Someone even told me the other day that Upper Bound's been here for a while. They just were under a different name. And look right here, you guys, $2.5 million in grants. And here they were. Here's for a 6 week high schools, 6 weeks high school students from Moody, West Oso ISD, Solomon Coles, and Roy Miller participate in Texas A&M University Corpus Christi Upper Bound Summer Academy. But yet, here they are getting millions of dollars, and then they're going to just take our book and just type it, but yet they're getting $2.5 million that they have to help the students that they're working with. And so this is one, two, three, four different schools. West Oso is actually a whole school district, but we know of at least 3 high schools that are being helped by the Texas A&M University.
But not only, Mr. Lars, did they take our book, or did they take our information, like I said, blood, sweat, and tears and tears and tears. Not only did they take that, where's our clientele going to come from?
Right.
So not only did they take this information and distribute it, they took our clients from us
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely.
Because
they robbed you.
It's the same. I already have that information. Thank you very much.
They robbed you of the ability to move your business forward. They robbed you of the ability to earn a wage, to earn a living. Is
Yes.
what happened. And
Yes.
it's see, again, ladies, as I'm sharing, and you know how we do on our show, is that we're just very candid, and we like to be sure that we have proof of what we are talking about. And when you have, this is just blatant disrespect. And many people try to say, oh, well, they try to make everything about race. And that's never the issue. My issue as a professional in Texas A&M issue should be is what you've brought out. You received $2.3 million in grants. There has been correspondence. Our material, and I repeat myself, the material obviously is what you need to use to try to boost what you're doing. However, we are not. So how can it be anything other than you have 2 minority women who are at the apex of this academic prowess, but you are, quote, held away from being able to benefit from your own knowledge and your own expertise? I mean, who does that? Where else does that happen? And as you've already shown, they are partnering with other people. I would really be interested in to know how many of those people are minority and how many are the producers. See, people confuse producing and purchasing, or someone just coming along for the ride and trying to reteach something that Andrea and Elsa produced. So I would really, and I'd like the world to ask that question. I'd like attorneys to ask that question. I'd like Texas A&M University persons in charge, being with their academic person, being with the president, etc., to ask that question. You can partner with other people, but you can steal information, and that's what it is. See, plagiarism is just a nice word for stealing. It's just a nice word for stealing. So you can steal material from these minority women, and then you walk around like it's okay. And I understand, some attorneys talk about sovereign immunity and all that kind of foolishness, but as an educator myself and a retired educator, we all know that even with that kind of speak, you hire consultants all of the time. You hire people to come in and work with your staff all the time. You hire people to come in and share about textbook information and contract and come several times throughout the year for staff development, etc. All of that is standard operation procedure. So I'm still saying I would like them to explain to an attorney, to a court of law, how can you not say that is purposeful discrimination against minorities when both of you are minority women, and they, again, feel that your work is great enough to be used and to be stolen. So what else could it be?
And so I wanted to also share with you that in December 2015, we began talks with Texas A&M University and several of their programs for the PASS program right here, the Programs of Academic Student Support. They have different names and programs now, but they just, they're switching names and getting funds for different things. But as you can see, look at here, $3 million in federal grant funding for all that's. I'm gonna show you in a moment who all is underneath this. I'm not saying that this was today or yesterday, but they're getting millions of dollars. The
Yes.
money is part of a $270 million award to 968 institutions of higher education. And this one right here, Texas A&M Corpus Christi department received $3 million of that over a 5-year period. $3 million, that can go a long ways,
Yeah.
especially just to give us a piece of that. But we started talking.
And we weren't even asking for it to be given without any work. We were gonna do our part for sure. And
contractually.
Yes, that's right.
And
honestly.
Yes.
And so in January in 2016, we had several meetings with Texas A&M. In February 2016, CMath, we end up, after our talks, we literally, cmathiseasy actually retracted a proposal to the university offering TSI training and workshops for their students and teachers with the Title V grad program. And I'm going to show you that. Here it is right here. The PASS program, this is what's part of their programs here. And so we retracted because something didn't feel right. They didn't want to, we were bringing the resources, we were bringing the expertise, we were bringing our customized materials, and they wanted to pay us like a regular teacher as if they were handing us material that McGraw had printed. And we were the designers and the creators of the material, and they were just no. Only we do is for teachers. We're just going to pay you like the teacher, even though we were going to be teaching it and so forth. And then in April 2016, that Title V grad program, they end up posting for job positions to design the TSI math prep and course development, which is what we already had developed.
But Ms. Johnson, and I mean, well, I don't be too formal and call you Miss, but Andrea and Elsa, again, what you have here is undeniably racism, without a doubt. What you have here is thievery. What you have here is individuals that do not want to respect you, the persons. However, and I'll use the street term like kids do, they want to hijack your knowledge. And then they want to dictate how you are compensated when everyone knows, as I said, when everyone knows that's in any kind of business, etc., is that I make you a proposal, you either accept it or reject it. We negotiate it. If the proposal that I make to you is not acceptable, then we negotiate it. But you don't dictate the terms of what you pay me for my knowledge and my services. They know that. I guarantee you, if you did research right now and you've done so much of it, they have consultants on their payrolls probably right now. If they don't have them there, they have them on standby and they have the contracts, etc., which in essence, that's really what you and Elsa would have been. You would have been, as you well know, you've been consulting. So whereby you issue them, your expectations, and everything is cut and clear, is in writing. They tell you what they need. And if you can meet, and I know you're not asking me any questions, but I'm just sharing with you, is that when I see people do things like this to companies, again, might I say, regardless of who's in charge of the company, but when I see people do things like this, it's unfortunately always there. You always have people within the organization that are dishonest people and trying to skim and put things where they're not supposed to be, and rearrange funds and that kind of thing. And many times, so funds cannot be traced back where they're supposed to be. And if you ask about the SIP, the school improvement process, obviously every superintendent across the country, as far as I know, have to have a school improvement program for his office, and then the individual principals have to have one for their individual schools, but it have to be in concert, or it's supposed to be in concert with the superintendent's vision for the district. So when it goes up to the university, and then they're working in conjunction because you feed into their university, then they all work in conjunction with this SIP, and they have their own SIP. So everything you've explained to me, you and Elsa have explained to me as being an experienced administrator, is nothing but and it's nothing but fraud. It's just straight up fraud, and there's no denying it. There is no denying it. And when you look at the fact that you've sat with them, you've spoken with them, they know the work there, so they know who you are. They know that you are a minority business. So to refuse to do business with you, it just smacks of clear racism. I'm sorry. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but it smacks of clear racism.
Yeah, we actually talked to the Department of Education and even met with one of their deans before they end up moving away to San Antonio. He heard so much about our work that he wanted to do research on what we did to see why we were so successful in what we did. But he ended up getting transferred or ended up moving to San Antonio, like I said. And so he was going to provide the grad student. He was going to show us about how to go about doing it. He was telling us, hey, some products that come out of this. We can do some research, some peer review, publications. I mean, the whole works and stuff. So we've been on the radar. This was probably around 2015, 2016 that this was going on when we have went and sat in the office to start discussing about what we did and doing some how you say some evidence-based research on what we do and why it's working.
And the new I don't know if it was the dean of education who took over that job. I went to go and speak to him myself because we approached him and we told him this was what the former dean was had worked out with us. This is what we were going to do together. He had all of this in place. Will you work with us? And in the same way. And when I got there, and because Andrea had another meeting to go to, so it was me. I got there and I explained to him the situation. At that time, many of the teachers that were going through his department were not passing the TSI. They had raised
teachers.
They had raised the bar for the TSI. Those that went into the program and passed the TSI, now when they exited the program, had to pass the TSI with a higher score. They imagined that after their program, now you should know more, and so you should pass the TSI with a higher score. And many of them, I think only maybe 10 teachers were graduating as teachers, at the time, because they had raised the bar of the TSI. And we told him we could help you. We could help you get past that hurdle. And he didn't even know about what was going on in his department. And he said, "Can you enlighten me and explain to me, please?" And because he was brand new to that department, so he wasn't sure what even though that guy, the dean, moved away, we had kept up with what was going on. That's a part of our research. It's a part of what we do. We sort of stay in the know. And yeah, we had to, when I was there, he asked a lot of questions and I answered a lot of his questions, and we never heard from him after that. And then we see, that this comes out. So it was very alarming when that happened. I guess because, when you have sort of a good heart and a heart to help others, you just think everybody does, but we're learning now more and more as when you get up there, things happen, and there's bad people up there too. that want to keep you down. And unfortunately, that happened to us, but it's not stopping us from doing what we do.
I'm happy to hear you say that, because people will quickly mistake kindness and civility for weakness. And it doesn't matter whether you be, quote, on a professional level or if you're just plain old grassroots. When people try to be kind, when people are civil, it's sadly mistaken for weakness. And another thing is that most people, it has been my experience that people think like you, like they think you think like them. And sadly, you encounter people all the time in our area of education seem to forget that it's not about them. It's about the students and the assistance that the teachers and students can get. So you have individuals that are sitting on titles that try to thwart processes because they don't have the expertise, and they don't want, and let's just call it what it is. They don't want you to show them up. So everyone has to be crippled because they don't have the expertise themselves, but they have a title, they have a position, but they don't have the expertise. So this is what I'm hearing, and this is what I'm sharing with you ladies. Attorneys must be involved. The Department of Education must be involved. I would go so far as to say, very honestly, is I would involve the SCLC, et cetera, because this is nothing more than racism. People can call it whatever they want. It's nothing more. I guarantee you, and anybody can challenge me on this that I would like, because as I told you, I have a bunch of guests. I don't want to call them a bunch. We always have a lot of guests in the thousands, and anyone can challenge me on this that would like. I guarantee you, if CMath was not a company, and I don't like to call people white and black. I just say my less melanated brothers and sisters. If people that owned CMath were less melanated and have the product that you have, they'd be nationally known. I've seen it happen over and over and over. Yet people try to defend their treachery. And plagiarism, again, is just a nice word for thievery. So I would encourage you ladies to pursue this and to pursue it heavily. Media, which I'm part of the media, and this is going live right now on YouTube. So it's going all over the world. And you've done an excellent job by explaining it and laying it out there. So, we can also work with public opinion. But I just want to share that.
And so I also wanted to take note that not saying we haven't been able to find any evidence at West Oso ISD, but I want you to know that let me see where it was, February 2015, we actually did a math camp with them, with several of their students for 2 days. Then we were invited to come back in March of 2016 to do another TSI math camp, And so I met a parent who had a student there going for their prep class. They did a 4-week TSI bridge camp with 50 or 60 students. We heard rumor only one student out of that group.
The first part we were a part of. The second part was done, somebody else was had taken over that program.
Yeah. So years later, after we had been twice, there have been a new superintendent, new principal at the school. So, but a lot of transition, and so we have not been a part of this district for at least several years. But we've heard rumor. Well, not even heard rumor. I actually talked to a parent, and she was like, "My child is stressed out trying to take this TSI. Only one student out of the batch from their program with their teachers and their whomever they used to come in to do the TSI, only one student passed out of 49 or 50, 60 students, one.
Our program is
4 weeks, 4 weeks,
days.
only one.
Yeah. Our program is 4 days, 12 hours. Their program was 4 weeks and only one student passed.
And that was from a parent who was like,
one,
I need help.
The number following 0.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and so her
And
daughter.
in our program, 4 days, 12 hours, where Andrea mentioned 6 hours, 100% pass rate. And I think there were about 50 students.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. For 4 days,
The top right.
100% passing rate. And theirs was 4 weeks, 60 students, I think, and only one passed. So, and the reason we mention that is because we want to make sure we drive in the reason why Texas A&M copied, because our program is successful.
And I want to hear the reason why Texas A&M has not employed you as consultants. I'm just baffled. I'm just totally, and the high schools, I'm just totally baffled with that one.
Yeah, and so and so I just wanted just to show you that. So you know, I'm not saying, you know, they're on this list, so I don't know, you know, what Texas A&M has given and passed out to them. So I just want to put that on record and stuff. But you know, having in contact with, you know, someone introduced me to this parent who was just who didn't know what she can do. You know, how can she help her child? And so I had a chance to consult with her and talk with her and stuff about how she could, you know, find other resources to help her student to be a part of their early college program that she was asked to be a part of, and so forth. And then I wanted to say that also in August of 2018, we had a meeting with the CCISD school district about dual credit and early college high school, and even possibly doing some professional development. And we were talking to him about them. We actually made an appointment. Then February 2019, we met with the top heads at the administration for the Corpus Christi Independent School District in regards to the TSI math. In February of 2019, we met with one of the principals on this list here about our TSI program. He asked us to come back, and he had us talk to his counselor, a Texas A&M Corpus Christi graduate student, 2 of his algebra teachers, and it was telling us that they had over 200 students that they needed to pass the TSI math. And so we were going for a third meeting to say, hey, when can we start? Here's a customized program that we want to implement with you. Instead of taking 6 months or a whole year or even a month to start getting out these students, what if we can show you how to take 2 weeks for each group and have 50 to 100% of those students pass the TSI in 2-week intervals, you know, trying to reach all the students at one time, and allow us to help teach your teachers how to do a 2-week boot camp. We got a call back saying that the principal cannot meet with us, and I asked, well, when can we reschedule? We just want to say thank you for coming. And we have not, and that was February 2019. That was over a year and a half ago.
But do you know what happened in between, Mr. Lars? He bought 4 of our books.
Okay. So he thought he was smarter. He thought he was smarter than the 2 of you. Okay.
And then this came out.
Okay.
And and one of the high schools is on the list on your screen right now. That was the principal that we were talking to. One of the high schools.
Okay.
And so I have friends in the district, you know, and another school said, I heard that they were doing a pilot with your work, you know, a pilot with our work without us. Yeah. And you know something?
And no payment whatsoever.
And that's what I was going to ask you ladies. He bought 4 books that clearly states nothing is to be copied, altered, etc., without the express written consent of the author of cmath. Criminal.
Yep. And in the book it said this is for one student. and it must be written. I was trying to bring it back up to show you that the very first page, when you open up the book, it says that.
It's right
and
there.
So it says it right there. So I just wanted you to understand. Sorry if I changed something, but and then we met again in March 20th, 2019 with CCISD again. They were asking us about our pricings for our TSI workbooks. And then in April, we got another call back from downtown administration for the independent school district, asking us about our teacher workbook guides and our student workbooks. And then May 6, 2019, we actually went to the school board and presented ourselves as cmathiseasy and gave everybody on the school board a sample of our workbook and told them about who we were and invited them to our ribbon cutting that was later on in March. And then earlier this year, in May. And so we let the school board know about our work, and even chased after me afterwards and said, I really liked what you showed us and what you talked about. You know, I had 3 minutes, but I extended my time because they had something to go home with and look at. It was just pieces of chapter 1, but what they copied and retyped was from chapter 2 and 3. You follow me? And right. so the superintendent, deputy, the whole school board, and then their coaches for the district, everybody knows who we are. They have to know what they're putting out and what the students are using to prep for the TSI, because the TSI is so important. You can get federal funding for that. And when we were having one of our meetings downtown at the administration office, they were like, wow, what did they say, Elsa, about them not?
When the teacher, actually, they were from all of the school districts. The heads of the mathematics department came to that meeting. So it was cmathiseasy, assistant superintendent, and the heads of each of the schools' math department. The head of the math departments were there. And one of them opens our book and says, I have one problem with your book. You don't need me. You
Right.
wrote the book so well, so detailed, that anyone can just go through it and understand it so well. He said, that's my problem. You don't need me. And I said, that's exactly what we wanted for when you take the book, you could just see how to work the math problems without us. In fact, when Andrea and I got together, I said, Andrea, I want to be able to write a book to where it's like I'm standing there in front of them, taking them each step by step, just getting them by the hand and taking them, and where they start off in the 6th grade and they end up in the 12th grade, all within the same book. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly how we wrote it. And that's what Texas A&M saw. That's what CCISD saw. And that's what they stole.
Wow. Wow. So I know we don't, we're not going to technically talk about any litigation, but I know litigation is on the horizon. Mm-hmm. It has to be, and I'll leave it there.
Well, so if there's any lawyer out there listening.
Now, since we're talking about that, I just want to let you know that the United States Copyright Office is actually doing an investigative study about copyright infringement from state institutions. And so cmathiseasy had the opportunity, and were picked out of over 650 people asking to be a part of their roundtable study. We were able to be a part of their to be interviewed for their state sovereign immunity study roundtable, which was just a week ago. And now, as you can see here, we were part of the evidence of infringement, part 1. Yes. Andrea Johnson, cmathiseasy. And so I had an opportunity to share what we're talking about today, and actually had a chance to send up to Washington, D.C., the copies, what you saw of infringement that was done to us by Texas A&M Corpus Christi through their Upper Bound program, but through their past program, distributing our work to the local school districts. And so they were talking about this, and I want to show you also what were some of the questions. Here was the topics: evidence of state infringement. Okay, and it says sessions for this topic will consider evidence of actual or threatened copyright infringement by states. Okay, the second was state policies for infringement. Sessions for this topic will consider state policies and practices for minimizing copyright infringement and addressing infringement claims. And then the third thing that they were talking about on that day was state law remedies. Sessions for the topics will consider alternative remedies provided by state law to address copyright infringement by states. And it was just one thing after another, because the state institutions were hiding behind sovereign immunity and the Fair Use Act. They were discussing about how, even though, I wanted to show you something, one more thing. I wanted to show you this right here. Even though we had registered our work, you see that? We had registered our work with the Library of Congress. Here's our registration number right here. That they still took our work and retyped it. And now, and then they had people over and over again said, oh, well, there's sovereign immunity. You have to ask permission to sue a state institution for taking my stuff and putting their name on it.
Well, what you had, and I have to say this, ladies, what you had was attorneys talking about loopholes that will not stand up in court. Very simply put, those individuals who thought that they were so smart by copying your material, by trying to change the graphics, they still couldn't change the material itself. And it's clear evidence. It's clear evidence. And so when you have, well, first of all of us know that attorneys talk to one another. Doesn't matter that they're on opposite sides. They talk to one another. And when you have a powerhouse like a Texas A&M and university, and even though that's in Kingsville, you have your, and I'll say corporate office, because that's what universities are. They have attorneys, and many times they've gone to law school together, or they work in practices together, or they do different cases together. So when you have individuals, and I'm just telling you from experience, from being an old experienced administrator, when you have individuals that try to keep themselves from appearing as though they're not interested in helping you, they will also try to, quote, I'm just going to call it what it is, try to throw you off track by throwing little tidbits in. And unfortunately, that's the way it works when you're dealing with a code of law, where they talk about the prosecution, or this is not allowed in court, and that's not allowed in court, et cetera, et cetera. And the general public never understands that when they say, oh, well, that person was found guilty. No, well, he must have done something. What they keep trying to ignore, and what the general public does not accept, is the fact that when you hide things from court, from the people that are actually sitting on juries, et cetera, then it is not being judged by your peers. You're being judged by people that they want, about a certain piece of information they want people to have. So this attorney, whomever they are, that try to gloss this over about, well, they have sovereign immunity and all of that. Don't even listen to that. You hear it, but don't hear it. Hear it, but don't hear it. You still, there are attorneys all over the United States that will be happy to work with you ladies. And so when you have local people, again, many of them in the same country club, they play golf together, all that kind of thing. Well, they're not going to tell you that, and not you, the person, but I mean you universally. So don't let that dissuade you. Do not allow that to frighten you, because there are always ways to do everything. I mean, even at the highest office, tried to hide his income tax for forever. So then the courts got tired of playing and say, yeah, they can be released. Well, here you have it. And other situations where his entire family is having to answer court proceedings for misuse of donated funds and that kind of thing. So lawyers are going to do lawyer talk. Don't let that dissuade you. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, I wanted to let you know that we have sent out letters from our lawyers from out of Fort Worth, Texas, and Corpus Christi ISD also has one. They should already have it, both of them. And so we're just this is where we're starting at. And so just want to let you know that it's real and we are pursuing.
Fantastic. So ladies, it's wow. You ladies have done a fantastic.
And the funny part about it is that their own students have been expelled for copywriting or plagiarizing, and yet they're doing it. The top people, the university themselves is doing what their students have been expelled. Individual students have been expelled for. It just
Wow.
I just don't understand how this could be, or how they can say hide behind this sovereign immunity is what I'm saying.
It gets back. It gets back to power and privilege, and what people try to denounce all of the time. It gets back to power and privilege. I mean, it's just wow, which is another topic in and of itself. But I'm so happy that you ladies have and continue to pursue this. And I share again, do not be dissuaded, by all of the lawyer talk, because they know ultimately that they're going to have to reckon. Texas A&M know that they're going to have to reckon with this, but they just expected you to go away. They expected you just to go away and not challenge the situation. And so don't be about that at all. But listen, you have so much rich information, ladies. Would you like to share with our audience how they might contact you? I'm sure many of them need assistance with mathematics and would love to employ your services. You'd like to share with them how they might contact you?
You can contact us by C, the letter C, cmathiseasy.com, or you can contact us at the cmathiseasy@gmail.com. And so I apologize for not having my information up here, but the letter C, mathiseasy.com, and cmathiseasy@gmail.com.
Okay, wonderful. Ladies, it's certainly been great having you tonight. Wow, this is very valuable information. And as I said, it's going out all over the country because you're live on YouTube, and you were live on YouTube for a purpose. And we know that we're going to get some major people involved in this process. So we want to thank you again for being here. And dare I say, shame on Texas A&M and all of those corporate people that continue to step on the little person and continue to try to make a statement like you don't want to do better, you don't want to do anything, you just want governmental handouts, when all the time they are thwarting and trying to keep you away from success. So ladies, we're so happy that you were here. We thank you for joining the Nobody Asked Me Guy show, and we want to have you back again as this thing progresses. So we want to bid you adieu and wish you a great evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Until
for
next
having
time.
us.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you for being here.